Hello, I think I'm live. So let's do this then, because I am live. It's the Wellness Journal this week. The Wellness Journal happens every Wednesday. When on Wednesday? When I can on Wednesday. I'm getting better at that though, and we will continue to get better at that. What are you continuing to get better at, right? For me, routine, organization, accountability, that kind of thing. And a good first step to that was just not doing this on Thursday, but actually on Wednesday. And I'll tell you what, it brought me a lot of joy. This accomplishment is making me feel good about myself. And while I'm nervous and while I wonder where the hell I get off speaking to you about joy, I'm doing it anyways. I'm doing it because the more I do this work, the better I feel about what is produced. So I'm practicing, I'm getting better at it, I'm being more authentic, I'm taking more risks, and like the consequence is really not as big as I think it is. And so there isn't a lot to concern myself with. It's just a little live video on Facebook. What if people see it? That's the point. I want people to see it. And so I took notes before I go off on my tangent. I took some notes because I felt like joy really needed to be like reined in. As an adult, I was like, Jesus, what is joy? How do I bring joy in my life? When's the last time I felt joy? Like I had to sit with this for a bit. And like maybe you're like, oh, Emily, don't go there. I just would rather talk about my finances. Yeah, okay, we'll get to that. And then you'll wish we had spoken about joy. So as adults, we don't really take time for joy. And we may need to take some time for that. And I've got my notes in front of me, so I'll try to do them in order. Yeah. Okay. The little things will get in the way of joy, by the way. We can have faith in ourselves to find the right words and to articulate our thoughts without the details of every little note that we hoped to get at. So first of all, yeah, like when joy comes to your mind, like what are the things that first pop into your mind? And this might actually take some work. Like if you haven't been cultivating joy in your life, then you might not know the answer. You might have to really sit with it. And it's, you know, we think, oh, joy is easy and joy comes naturally. But I think much like gratitude, joy is one of those things that we need to practice. And something that helps us to feel joy is confidence. And that may mean investing time into that which brings you joy. It might mean learning something new. And if learning something new means that you are a beginner, it might be scary and not actually be that noticeably joyful. You know, is it possible that frustration could be joy? Like in that moment when you're trying really hard to do something that is new, right? I'm thinking of like when I'm embroidering and I'm like really trying, right? It needs all of my attention. And then when I look back and I look at what I've like been able to accomplish or this new skill that I have, I'm like, wow, that was kind of fun. I think I enjoyed that. I think that brought me joy. And then the next time I go to do it, it's a little bit easier. And and I start to gain a little bit of confidence, and I'm like, wow, cool, maybe I want to do that more often. So there might actually require some discipline and effort and growth. Certainly growing this area of your being, which is joy, right? It's not really just going to hang out with us. In fact, maybe the opposite. So I made like a little list of 4 things that you could do to explore joy in your life, just at the beginning stages of bringing it back into your life and sort of like getting your head around, how do I define joy? So I have slides, but I guess I'll just show them to you afterwards as like a little bit of a recap. And the slides are indeed a workbook, which you can have as my gift to you. And I had a lot of fun making it. And I actually had a lot of fun making these notes. And as I learn how to be a speaker, and as I learn how to share this message of wellness with you, I am having to deep dive, and it is an unknown territory to me. And I do think that I need to practice it. And that is what I'm doing in front of you, which is freaking me out. So I made my own little list of things that I love, things that bring me joy. And yeah, like what's on my list, for example, listening to my music. So like any music that just makes me feel good. I've never been one to like memorize artists or particular names of songs or even genres. I just know what feels good and sounds good. I also remember when I was younger, it was all about listening to the same music over and over and over again until I could sing it by heart, right? And I would dance to it, and I would sing at the top of my lungs. I would really indulge in joy and allow myself to have ample time with it, even over and over and over again with the same thing. It also reminds me of like back in the day when we would watch reruns, right? And we would know certain lines, and we would share those inside jokes with our friends, and we would shout them out. One that comes to mind is that episode of Friends where they're moving something up the staircase and Ross is screaming like pivot, right? Just the idea of thinking about that show cracks me up. And pretty much every time I'm moving something up the staircase, no matter how annoying it is, how heavy it is, I think about that scene in that episode of Friends when they're trying to get up something up the stairs. And there you go. I mean, I moved something up the stairs the other day and it was really heavy. It was a futon mattress, and we had already driven it all the way home, and it was really exhausting and really tiring. And you know what lightened the mood is literally just the simple word of pivot. So listening to my music, being in nature. Yeah, just like in nature is really all encompassing and really can take you away from the day-to-day. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the deep nature, but yeah, maybe you don't bring your phone with you. Maybe you don't take your phone out of your pocket every few seconds to take a picture of that tree, this bush, that mushroom, this worm. Like maybe you're just in nature. And it's not necessarily to gain something like a photo or an Instagram post or, that photographic memory. Maybe you just hold that in your heart and trust that it will be there, and trust that you can breathe in this moment and have it be forever in you. Doing yoga, right? So I'm a yoga teacher, and I definitely identify yoga as my job, but I also identify yoga as my passion and my spiritual path. And when I step away from teaching yoga, I am reminded of that. And I am a forever yoga student. I am a yoga teacher, but I'm also a beginner at yoga. Yoga is forever, and I could deep dive into it anytime, and I would learn something new. So it's like this ever-giving well of wisdom to me. And not only that, but it's very dynamic. So One moment I'm reading, the next moment I'm breathing, the next, like, a practice, the next moment I'm doing mantras or listening to music or practicing asanas or chatting with a yoga friend or researching some of the yoga philosophies. So it really takes me down the path, and time just flies sometimes when I'm really indulging in my practice of yoga. Also, when I'm teaching yoga, I really enjoy it. So that and I'm witnessing others have that same experience that I'm having, and that brings me a lot of joy. Taking a bath. Now, I love a good bath, but what makes a bath even better is when you don't have your phone with you. And maybe there's a candle lit, and maybe there's bath salts in there. Look, we're not going to the bath to clean ourselves. We're not babies. We're going to the bath to relax. This is time well spent on you. Imagine a baby in a bathtub, right? They're not there to clean themselves. They're there to have a good time. They have toys in the bathtub. This is time. Okay, as a side effect of the bath, they end up getting clean. So if you want, great. Soap yourself down, even have a shower afterwards, whatever, exfoliate your skin, make this time productive. But you can also just have a bath and enjoy it. Like, it doesn't have to be that you clean the bath afterwards. It just doesn't have to be that. You can just enjoy the fact that you own a bathtub. And I'll get more into this afterwards, and then you can be grateful that you have a bathtub. Because if you've ever lived in France, like I have, you might not always have a bathtub. And the moment you don't have a bathtub is the moment you want to take a bath. So take a moment. If you have a bathtub, be grateful for your bathtub, go and take a bath, and then you can thank me later because you have a bath and you got to enjoy it. And not just clean it all the time. Like, you probably clean your bath more than you use your bath. We're not going to go there, but it's true. And you know it is. Doing arts and crafts. I fucking love arts and crafts. What are my two favorites? Embroidery and drawing. Am I good at them? No. Do I take lessons? No. Do I care that I suck? No. Do I practice and sometimes get a little bit better? Yeah. Does it matter? No. What do I do with all that shitty embroidery and drawings? I give it away to friends. It's not permanent. It doesn't matter. I haven't invested a lot in embroidery. I think that I went to the store and dropped 20 bucks. I dropped a little bit of money on fabric scraps, one needle, which I have somehow managed not to lose. It's much like the hair elastic. The more you have, the more you lose. So really the trick is to just have the one needle. It's not even a very good sized needle for all of the fabrics in which I have. It kind of pokes too big of a hole sometimes. But what I love about this needle is it's really easy to thread. And then I bought like a handful of different colors. And those go a long way, actually. And I think they're like 80 cents each. So in total, yeah, I probably dropped max 20 bucks, and I got a couple of those rings. Now, drawing was even cheaper. I bought a drawing book, $5, and a pencil. And like, my pencil wasn't special. And even this time around, when I got a new laptop, I got a laptop that had like one of those pencil things in it, and like flips into a tablet and all. And that was really fun. And I thought, okay, like I don't even need to invest in any of the papers or the pens, etc., the colored pens, whatever. I can just have Endless online. And, I don't even use it that much. And it didn't make any difference. Like it is the discipline of it, taking the time to practice and to spend time in doing what it is that's bringing you joy. So I'm not sure that the material is what is important at the beginning. And maybe as you get to that stage, maybe you will want to invest more in it. But I would say the beginning, don't let that stop you, right? Like one of the things on my list was riding my bike. Now I have a really crappy bike. I'm not sure that I would get all that much more joy from a better bike. I kind of like the fact that I can lock up my bike and not worry about it outside the store. I kind of like the idea that I can jump on my bike and throw all my groceries in the basket and have my basket bopping around. It kind of just makes it more fun and less consequential, right? I didn't have to wait to have the best bike to go out biking. I can just have my plain old bike. Later, I'll get a better bike. And maybe I can even indulge in a bike. Like maybe I can even spoil myself, right? And spend a couple of €100 on a bike, which I've never done. My bike is always used. It's like $50. And, constantly is like needing repairs. And I don't know constantly, but often needing repairs. And, how would it make me feel if I went out and spoiled myself a little bit with a new bike, with arts and crafts materials, with new classes, like of swim lessons? Like maybe I live next to the sea. Maybe I really want to go swimming, but I'm afraid, okay, well, maybe I need to take swim lessons, and that's maybe going to cost some money. Investing in joy, investing in fun, investing in yourself. Spending quality time with my boyfriend. And also I put on my list sex and orgasms. Yeah. At first I was wondering, like, is it sex that I enjoy or is it orgasm? I wrote down both. And, as a woman, maybe you can relate, orgasms just aren't like there waiting for us. We do have to do a little bit of work. Once we get one, maybe one shortly follows after that, if we're lucky. Maybe we get more than one, but certainly we have to have that first one in order to get that second one. So what brings you joy? Explore that. I put feeling free to be me on my list. So you're not worrying about the fact that I just said the word orgasm in this video. Not worrying about the fact that I need to lean over and plug in my charger. Can I just be myself, my authentic self? Take a moment, right? Like I need to calm down. I'm too much myself in this moment. Rein it in, be a professional, Emily. Stick to your notes. We never really take the time to know what joy is and what it means to us, what brings it towards us. Spend time on that. Now, one thing can kind of lead on to the next thing. So it starts simple now. I wrote down scented candles, a hot shower, a favorite tea. It doesn't need to be big and expensive. We can skydive later. For now, we're just going to buy a scented candle, a plant. We're just going to go into the back of our cupboard and put the dress on that we love so much, that we're afraid to wear. Okay. I can't be here all afternoon. I want to go for a swim, so let's do this, okay? Mix up your experiences. As I was researching about joy, in the little video, they reminded us of Groundhog Day. Do you remember that movie? They showed a scene from it, and this guy, his alarm clock goes off at the same time every day, as all of ours do, probably, right? Oh man, I've got this tickle in my throat now. Probably because I'm clearing out my throat chakra, I'm finding my voice, I'm allowing it to come alive. I'm trying this new thing, right? This just makes me want to go out and try choir and sing at the top of my lungs. So mix up your experiences, right? Think back in your mind. What are the memories that bring you joy? It's the simple things. It's your values. It's not necessarily those bigger things. It might be, of course. But when I think back about joy, I've been thinking about it for a week, trying to think of what would I write about, and just until now, when I mentioned skydiving, it didn't even lodge in my mind that I've been bungee jumping. I'd completely forgotten. Sure, that was exciting at the time, and I must have been all in, and I must have been so nervous, and I'd never done it before. But when I think about joy, I really think about the simple things. So you could create themes, by the way, in your joy list, which is the first thing to do. Make a list of joyful things, make a list of things that you love. So if you're more of an organizer person and you're unsure of what to write, maybe it's that you write down the quick fix joy. You're feeling miserable, you're unhappy, you don't have a clue what could possibly bring you joy. What are the little quick fixes? So again, as I mentioned, a hot shower or a cold shower for that matter, your favorite tea, that kind of thing, your favorite song. Yes. When I get excited, right? When I get nervous, I get all gassy. So daily activities, right? Again, coming back to confidence, right? We feel joy when we feel confident. Okay, well, how do we feel confident? When we're feeling good about ourselves, when we're feeling our best. So yeah, that might actually require that we shower and brush our teeth and put clothes on and get out of bed. And for anyone that's living with chronic illness, which I am, I know might be the hardest part of your day. So if you're really in the thick of it, what could be just one thing? And now that one thing might literally not even be to get out of bed. So do you have a gratitude journal next to your bed? Do you have your favorite book next to your bed? Can your partner bring you a tea? Can you throw on your favorite rerun of whatever show it was or your favorite song and close your eyes and listen to it? Sometimes when we're living with chronic illness, life sucks big time. So what are the little daily activities that you can bring into your life that are accessible, that you can just say, okay, I need some joy. It's right there. So the quick fixes, daily activities, and then the big things, right? Like, what are we working towards? Why do we care to have any joy at all in our life, right? Like, are we working towards bigger things that are going to bring us bigger joy? And those will be, maybe once or twice a year, like a holiday or a special shopping trip that you went on or a special dinner that you made. It doesn't have to be all the time and every day. Maybe it just is every now and then. But how do we lead up to that? How do we get to that stage in our life? And then how do we appreciate it when it's there and really make space for that, really get into that vulnerable space where we're not afraid to lose this happiness? Sometimes we don't want to let ourselves be so happy in fear that it will be gone and that it will be just fleeting, as it often is, because we are not allowing ourselves time to really be there. And when I'm saying that, I'm talking about you being on your phone, you thinking about work, you thinking about your responsibilities, you thinking about your pain and your illness or whatever it might be. I know I'm an adult. I have these things going on too, but it's not about that. It's about joy. Okay, so explore joy, uninterrupted space and time and energy for joy. That's just what we've carved out this time for. It could be 5 minutes. It could be an hour. It could be a day. Okay. Okay, step number 2. It's going to be in the workbook. Don't worry. Maybe you're taking notes. Maybe you want to pause. Maybe you want to just get the hell out of here and go back to your miserable existence. No. Stay with me. Think back to when you were a kid. What did you do for fun? Did you indulge wholeheartedly in this? No, if you're my age or maybe older, Smartphones maybe didn't exist until you were like a teenager. So maybe you were able to really indulge in that joy at that time, or in that sport, or in that hobby, or in that activity. And maybe that activity was just simply watching TV, right? Like I remember watching so much Saved by the Bell and Family Matters and those kinds of shows. And I wasn't looking at my phone while I was watching them. I was like chatting with my friend about them and like laughing and having fun and like laying on my belly in front of the TV with my hands, right? I was like so close to the TV that there wasn't possible to do anything else, right? So I was really just doing that one thing. Think about the level of engagement that we bring to our hobbies and our activities and our free time. Free time. This is your free time. Are you giving away your free time? Oh, and one thing that came up was your favorite color. Remember, maybe you had a favorite color when you were a kid and you just always wanted to wear this color. So like it could really be just like soaking up what you love and kind of nerding out in this nerd zone, right? Where like you are a big super fan, and that's okay. Maybe you can just take a little bit of pride in that and go hard, you know? So can you bring joy back into your life, and at what capacity? So like, okay, it's not all or nothing, right? We're not just here to have a good time. It may just be that we have to just set aside a portion of time for this. And when we do that, we actually come back to our work and our more structured life with fresh perspective. And we're able to then dive deeper into that as well, because we feel more filled up and like we really got to step away from that. Okay. So yeah, as adults, we may not put as much value on this. And yet we do, our children or our younger people around us, right? Get off your phone, make time for fun, go to bed. We're going to go to the park tomorrow. You want to have energy, right? So sometimes we even need to help our children to value fun and joy, and because their lives too involve a lot of structure and seriousness, especially nowadays, especially if a child is going through a hard time, and so they may need that motivation, and do you as well need that motivation? And that motivation and accountability might be in the form of real value. When we pay for lessons, we go to lessons because we don't want to lose out on the money that we spent, and we don't want to lose out on that time. So invest in joy. And if you don't have the money to do it, then you're going to have more discipline. How badly do you want it in your life? Get curious. Okay, so this is the number 3 thing. Okay, but first I want to talk about that kid thing. Like I'm kidless, so cool for me, right? And what is one thing that I've said is that I don't want kids because I want to be my kid. I see parents out there dropping some serious coin on their kids. These kids get dance, they get music, they get guitar, they get math class, they get sports, they get it all. Not only do we pay for those programs, but we drop them off, we pick them up, we go to the games, we buy the outfits, etc., etc., etc. Can we just get like a smidge of that? Just a smidge. Okay, next thing, get curious. What were you interested about one time and you thought, I'm going to go look that up. I want to try that. I'm jealous of that person who gets to do that. What are those things? What are you interested in? When I say joy, what comes to mind? What is that thing that you did that one time that brought you joy? And remember, it doesn't need to be expensive. Maybe you literally just carve out a corner in your room for your dumbbells And maybe your dumbbells are a 2-liter pop bottle full of sand. A friend group, a free resource, a free yoga class, YouTube, learning, grab a notebook, get involved, find people that want to share this time with you. Make it a part of your daily routine. Really, joy, right? Joy, let's do it. Yeah. Bring that joy into your life. Give yourself space and time. Not every second of your day has to be productive, and you don't always need to gain something from your time. As a person that works for themselves and as a person that is in the wellness space, every time I learn a new wellness modality, I'm like, I'm going to do this for a job. This is my new job. When I do self-massage on myself, suddenly I'm like, I'm a masseuse. I'm going to be a masseuse. No, dude, like, no, we don't always need to be professionals at this and to offer it to other people. Maybe we just offer it to ourselves. Maybe we just want to do this for the sake of doing it because we want to. Maybe it's not what we do for a living. Maybe it is not that. It might belong in a different category and it can still have value. Playtime is messy and imperfect. Joy is joy. Joy is not perfection. Joy is open, joy is welcoming and non-judgmental. What have I got here on the notes? Yes. Adults need playtime too. This brings us joy in our hearts. Sometimes we need things that only bring us joy. Nothing else. Nothing else matters, right? Cultivate gratitude in order to get in these swing of things, of lightening up the day, of making space, right? We could be grateful for just having 5 extra minutes. And if we're like, shit, I don't even have 5 extra minutes, go make that time. And then you can be grateful for it. Cultivating gratitude, cultivating joy, creating it, practicing it. These are non-natural things. You know what natural is? Is the need to survive. Making money, putting a roof over your head, feeding your children, clothing yourself, making sure that the bank isn't calling you. I know. And you will look after that because you're a very reliable and responsible person. Can you take 5 minutes to skip around the block and put on your favorite Janet Jackson song? Joy is not limited. Okay, there's tons of it out there. You can incorporate it into your day. And as soon as I'm done this chat, I am going to go for a swim. It's going to take about half an hour, maybe 45 minutes, and I'm going to do it. And I'm going to count that as part of my studying because today I wanted to study and I will. In fact, I'm going to bring my phone to the beach and I can watch my thing on the app, but I'm also going to incorporate a swim. So is it possible to like do a little bit of both, right? Like, is it possible to take that call in the park? Is it possible to have your headphones on while you grocery shop and listen to your favorite music? Is it possible to journal on your way home, on your commute, like on the train or something, or to read your favorite book? Can we make space for this? We'll have to get vulnerable. This is new. Okay, so I want to like paint a picture for you. So when you're looking forward to something, like let's say you've applied for a job or a school or something, and you're like, I don't want to get my hopes up because it might not happen. You're like ruining it. Okay. It's time for joy. This is time for you to get excited. That was a hard thing to do to apply for that job. That was a hard thing to do to apply for that school. And can you like at least celebrate that you did that difficult thing regardless of the outcome? And can you just let yourself have that moment of confidence and appreciation for the time that you put into your future that looks bright, instead of trying to predict the future in this negative way? Okay, sure, you might not get the job or you might not get into school, but like that's not where you're at yet. Cross that bridge when you get to it. You applied for that school or that job for a reason. It's because you wanted it. And if you didn't really want it, you shouldn't have spent that time doing it. And if spending that time doing it helps you to come to that conclusion, then be grateful for that conclusion and be glad you didn't get the job, if that ends up being the scenario. And when our days are numbered and we look back, won't we wish that we had given ourselves permission to have that happy moment, to be happy for ourselves, to be proud of ourselves? So one thing on that note, and I'll say, is a friend of mine said, like, I now live in a town near the beach. It's glorious. And she said, I don't feel as though I used my summer well. I wish I had. And I remember that line, I wish I had. And of course, the end of her sentence was, I wish I had gone to the beach more. Okay, well, we live like a 5-minute walk from the beach. And she probably could have gone more. So I took that sentence and it was literally wish I had. And then I've been writing the things down that are a little bit special, that make my day feel special. So on this list, every time I do it, so on this list so far, I have embroidery. I embroidered twice since I've made this list. I did breath work. I went to a French conversation meet and greet. I baked gluten-free. I went to the physio. I've been doing sunrise walks. I did that twice last week. So cool. I talked with my best friend. I'm doing my daily meditation still. I think I'm on like 2, maybe even 3 months of that. Incredible. I never had such a strong meditation practice since I started involving you all in it, right? You have been motivating me to do that. What motivates you to do the things that are bringing you joy in your life, maybe including a friend, maybe somehow holding yourself accountable to it? Potluck with friends. I also had a potluck. Yeah, that's what I wish. So that's what I wish I had done more of. And now I am doing more of it and I'm celebrating it. I'm allowing myself to not only go and do those activities, but then to come back and to like reflect on them and to make them important in my life. And it's simple, like it's a simple thing. Nothing on there costs money. Yep, nothing. Okay, the embroidery, again, a little bit of money. Baking gluten-free, okay. There were some ingredients involved. And the breathwork class cost money, but I actually found a breathwork class that's like, it's like you get 10 classes for 90 bucks. So it's €9 per class, which is actually pretty like affordable in comparison to some of the other classes or some of the other activities that I could have purchased. So, you know, what is the activity that you can afford? If you can't afford that breathwork class, maybe you need to just set aside some time in your calendar and hold yourself accountable to it, to throw on YouTube and to do the breath work that is available for free. And in order to do that, maybe you invite a friend along with you. Who can you count on to have joy with you and to cultivate? Who do you want to encourage to share joy with you, right? And maybe that's the motivation. Like sometimes I'm like, I want to help you guys meditate. And then through that, I've been helping myself meditate. So please, by any means, find joy. Okay, I think for number 4, what would your dream day look like? And you think about it, right? Like you might mention like one or two big things. But chances are you just want to have a nap and like lunch in a good restaurant. Maybe you want to meet up with a friend or go to a local spa. Like maybe the spa is like the biggest thing, or maybe you want to go to a concert or something a little bit more spicy. But you can do that. But what is something that you can do today so that you'll work up towards the spa, the concert, right? We need to value ourselves. And if we're not valuing ourselves at the level of concert, at the level of spa, at the level of holiday, at the level of expensive restaurant, then we need to work up to that. What can you do today to bring joy into your life so that you don't feel guilty the next time you go and get dessert as well as the dinner? Because, oh geez, that will mean that dinner was more expensive, or you get that second glass of wine, or you get the slightly more expensive dress that you'd think, oh, I could just get that cheaper dress. And yeah, that's where you start. You start just by going to the mall at all. Like, look, I'm not a shopper. I don't want to go to the mall because that feels scary to me to spend that money. I'm not sure if that money is going to be there, and I'm not sure if I'm worth it or if it's worth it. You need to take those baby steps. Tomorrow I'm going to Marseille and I am going to get the most beautiful journal. And you know what? Sometimes the most beautiful journal or the most beautiful thing is really only a couple of euros or dollars more than the thing that you will get. I found that a lot with organic. Sometimes the organic thing isn't even that much more expensive, or even sometimes it's not more expensive. And then you are like, cool, I can actually afford that. I didn't know I could because I didn't even bother to look, because I wasn't even willing to ask or to look or to ever go outside of my comfort zone, of my right now budget, of my right now reality, right? Like, we don't have to buy the organic thing just because we went into the organic store. Maybe we just want to have some playtime in the organic store, checking out the prices, checking out the products. So the goal here is not to come up with something that you will never do. The goal is to think of something that you actually will do in your life that will bring you joy today, and start to just bring that little taste of happiness into your life. I'm going to show you the slides real quick, just so that you know that I did them, and then I'm going to include them, I think, like, in the comments. Also, okay, so I'll do two things. I'll start just by sharing my screen. Let me see. Okay, this is the first thing I'm going to do, is show you this adorable video that instantly brought me joy. Let's watch together for a brief moment. Oh my God, it is so cute, right? Look at that dog, look at the snail. Oh, I could watch that a million times over. Okay, let me find my slides. Here's the workbook. It's not a very big one. We don't really need much here. What we need to do is go and do the stuff. I'm going to show it to you in bigger format. So maybe the first thing is that you just do the workbook, and then the second thing is that you go and do the thing. So what brings you joy? Just start by making a list. It's cool. You can just write down the things. What brings you joy? Here's the 4 things that I went over, and even a bonus thing, which is to practice gratitude and to practice joy. So the 4 things are there. What comes to mind when you think about joy? Think back to your childhood. What are you curious about? And what would your dream day look like? Practice gratitude. That's it. That's the workbook. You can always come back and watch this video because you have the replay. And I care about you, and I hope that you have joy in your life. I too want joy in my life. I'm going to carve time out for that today by going for a swim. I'm going to bring my phone with me and watch my school app. And I'm gonna just fit that all in. Okay. I hope that you do as well. Write to me in the comments about how you bring joy in your life. Let's continue this conversation. The workbook has only just begun. Okay, we have 12 workbooks to create, and we haven't even gotten to all 12 yet. So like we're only scratching the surface of what integrative health is and what it could be in your life and how it can make your life more fulfilling, give you more meaning and purpose from your day to day. And that is the goal here at large. Okay, have a wonderful day, and I will see you on Friday for the 15-minute movement